QPR maintain a 5-point gap between themselves and the relegation zone thanks to a forgettable 0-0 draw at Loftus Road on Saturday afternoon with third from bottom Cardiff City. After Derby County's fourth consecutive win over Preston North End on Wednesday evening cut QPR's buffer from 7 to 5, a loss to Cardiff and a fifth win on the spin for John Eustace's side could have seen Rangers hanging just 2 points above the drop. But a painfully tepid affair between the R's and the Bluebirds saw neither side ever truly go close to breaking the deadlock, while Swansea's 1-0 win over Derby halted their mounting survival charge. I'm Connor, aka Hoopsa. I make QPR previews, reactions, interviews and features, and in this reaction I'm going to break down Rangers' 7th match without a win. If you like what you see or hear, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, or drop me a follow and leave a rating if you're listening as a podcast. Martí Cifuentes made 4 changes to last weekend's shambolic starting 11 at Stoke City, but frustratingly once again a senior striker wasn't one of them, with Mickey Frey unavailable for the second match running. Liam Morrison was the first change, coming in for a much welcomed first start since the 21st of December in place of Morgan Fox. In midfield, we saw the surprise return of Sam Field, who after missing 5 matches since Pompey away and being potentially out for the rest of the season, took the place of Jonathan Varane. Finally, last weekend's saving graces, goal scorer Yang Min-hyuk and Alfie Lloyd came in for Kieran Morgan and Karamoko Dembele. On the bench, there was also the notable first inclusion of 18-year-old winger Emerson Sutton, who was the hat-trick hero in QPR Under-18's narrow FA Youth Cup loss to Arsenal back in January. Still no inclusion for Ryan Colley though, despite the QPR club's socials continually teasing him in training photos. Now clearly this squad don't pay much attention to what Cifuentes says to the media, because having talked this fixture up as the biggest of his tenure so far, that certainly didn't translate to what we saw on the football pitch. This was one of the poorest halves I've seen at Loftus Road this season, and in a tie that could have such a significant say on the long-term future of both of these clubs, neither truthfully looked up for it or, crucially, capable of actually scoring a goal. After the ball spent most of the opening cagey few minutes in the air, Alfie Lloyd could have made himself an early hero when he nicked the ball back from the away defence 4 minutes in, but in what would become the start of a bit of a theme for this Rangers side, he couldn't get his shot from outside the box off the ground and it trickled into the hands of the keeper. This shot in the end would be Lloyd's only of the 54 minutes he played in an ineffectual performance that really underlined how out of depth he actually is in the Championship. Yang Min-hyuk nearly gave away a third goal of his loan spell a few minutes later when his no-look back pass set 5 goals in 16 Yusuf Salik free to charge into our box, but Liam Morrison timed his challenge exceptionally to limit the damage. Paul Smith was QPR's most lively attacking threat in the first half an hour, chopping inside of 2 Cardiff players from the wing on 16 minutes before his shot was tipped out for a corner. His ball in from the second phase of that corner had potential again, but no one was ready at the back post to capitalise. Rangers were forced back into defensive action just a few minutes later when Cardiff keeper Horvath's quick ball down the wing to Will Alves allowed the 19-year-old to spin done far too easily, a much improved Kenneth Powell denying the cross with a vital diving header, but Ruben Colwill was teed up all too easily for a shot from range that sailed narrowly past the right-hand post. Smith then had another good opportunity on 20 minutes when a rare bit of Lloyd hold-up play saw his backwards header set the Northern Irishman free down the right wing, but he dwelled too long on the chance and saw his shot blocked. If this match sounds lively, from this point almost any semblance of attacking intent from both sides all but vanished for the remainder of the half. Cardiff, having looked up for putting some pressure on QPR in the opening minutes, dropped much deeper, which meant that while we dominated the ball for the next 25, most of it was spent, as usual, played backwards and sideways. Without the likes of Chair, Saito or Dembele and Anderson practically invisible, this QPR side had no idea how to get the ball into the box or create chances. Our moves were constantly overplayed, especially down the left-hand side, often ending up exactly where they'd started 10 passes later, and on the rare occasion that Rangers did get a cross in, it was too low or it hit the first man, though of course without Frey there was very little for them to aim for anyway. Most frustratingly, in situations where we looked like we might be in attacking control, one loose pass would expose us. Liam Morrison was forced to make a cynical foul half an hour in to prevent one such situation and picked up a yellow card as a result. Unsatisfied with his own side's toothlessness, Omar Riza made 3 changes at the break, throwing on a second striker, and after a hopelessly wide Yang header and Alfie Lloyd re-injuring his groin, Varane, Benny and Dembele replaced Field, Anderson and Lloyd on 54 minutes, and soon enough Morgan took the place of Yang on the hour. With our only available striker now unavailable, Benny went up top, and despite playing well out of position, he was one of few silver linings for me. His pace and positioning saw him played into space twice in the first few minutes, and without doing anything too spectacular, I hope he continues to get minutes in our final run. Varane strangely looked like the one returning from injury, not Field, his sloppiness halting our build-up and exposing us multiple times, times, while Morgan just didn't get very much of a look in a now jumbled QPR side. Dembele was also sloppy in his first few minutes, but he warmed into the game quickly, and at 70 minutes the match started to open itself up much more to the possibility of a goal. Substitute Ollie Tanner blasted wide on the volley, while on 77 minutes a deflected Dembele through ball nearly saw Benny free for a shot in the box, but Fish denied it. Dembele's two resulting corner deliveries, thankfully light years ahead of Anderson's, both had the chances of going in directly with Horvath flapping in his box. Morgan's failed attempt to recycle the ball almost set Cardiff off on the counter, but a crunching Smith tackle prevented Tanner and set Rangers off on the attack again. Cardiff did remain just as likely, or I suppose I should say unlikely, to score as Rangers did. A failed block from Dunn on 82 minutes, freeing Tanner behind for a dangerous cross blocked by Edwards, and Mete shooting over the bar in the aftermath. Edwards and Morrison were, thankfully and somewhat predictably, a good partnership, and even Powell was considerably improved from last weekend, making some crucial blocks, so hats off to the three of them for winning this point. The match continued back and forth in the dying stages, Smith probably going closest on 84 minutes, when his follow-up on Dembele's blocked shot forced the keeper into a diving save, but Mete equally made it nervous again in added time when his back post header pinged over Nardi's crossbar. The full-time whistle soon followed, and all of us poor souls forced to endure those proceedings were released into the sunshine. Now, I'm conscious for those who didn't watch the match, my description of events probably makes the game sound far livelier than it actually was. This was a game of staggeringly little attacking quality, and one that we're very fortunate to have met our poor match in, because if Cardiff had been able to hit the target, this would have been another loss. I can somehow though find some very small silver linings. I thought Morrison made a really big difference to the back, remaining unbeaten in any of his QPR starts despite his last being nearly 4 months ago. The trouble is, now on a run of 7 without a win, I'm really struggling to see us scoring again, let alone picking up another win. And we now head to Sheffield United beating Oxford United on Wednesday evening with the same potential consequences as this match should we lose. It is the Championship, anything can happen, but I really struggle to see us coming up with those creative ideas that we were so sorely lacking on Saturday in just 3 days. Right, that's all from me. Thank you so much for tuning into this match reaction. If you're new to Hoopsa and you have enjoyed this one, please do consider hitting like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time for my Oxford United match preview. Cheers!